Hey folks, the horror nerd Todd Staruch here again at the New Jersey HorrorCon and Film Festival in Islip, New Jersey. And I have the absolute privilege of sitting here with the star of the iconic Fright Night and Married with Children, Amanda Bearse. Amanda, how are you?
I'm terrific. How are you?
I am terrific as well. We have a little bit better weather today.
Oh, it's beautiful. No, yesterday was intense. It really was. I seem to bring it with me. I live in Seattle now, and I spent the winter in New York right in time for that winter hurricane. So sorry, New Jersey.
So it's your fault.
It is. I hold the responsibility.
I really don't even know where to start. I'm having a bit of a fanboy moment. I do admit that. So, Fright Night, obviously, one of the most iconic horror films of all time. Does it ever surprise you? The passion that we horror fans still have for the film. I know you do a lot of the sort of reunions with the cast all the time, Chris and the rest of the cast. Does that ever surprise you that after all this time, people are still kind of rabid about the film?
Well, it certainly did when we first started doing conventions. Now we just delight in it. And it's gone several generations. And parents are so proud to bring their kids to the table and say, I just had them watch it because I knew you were here. And the kids might be a little shell-shocked. No, they're actually, it's pretty cool because we're able to talk to them about the practical effects. They know CGI.
Right.
You know, that's what they know. That's their world. So once upon a time, this is how movies were made. And so we just get a kick out of it. I mean, we just enjoy ourselves.
That's great. And speaking as a horror fan, it is always a thrill for us fans to get to meet our horror heroes.
I'm a horror hero. I didn't know that.
You are.
Put that on a T-shirt.
That's fantastic. So just tell me a little bit about what it was like working with this cast, Chris Sarandon and everybody else. Was it how much fun was it to do this movie?
It was great fun, and I think that's part of what made this this movie unique. Not only was the script so well done, Tom Holland wrote a story that did not make fun of the genre, but yet really embraced it, but there was so much humanity in it. So we were very fleshed out characters, real characters, and there was a lot of comedy. Mm-hmm. And to hear Tom say, you know, he that was one of the reasons he cast me. Not only could I kind of do the character arc because she starts out so young and then things happen, right?
Yeah.
But also because of my comedic instinct, and that's sort of where my career, you know, continued. But we had a little magic making this film, and lo and behold, 32 years later, it still has a little bit of that magic to it. So
it certainly does. It never gets old. I was telling Andy from Wishmaster about you know, my daughter's going to be 13 this month, and because I work in independent horror films, she now has an interest in it. So it's so much fun showing her all these films that I grew up with, and she's having a great time. So it's a way I can connect with her. Yeah. So thank you for being a part of that and for helping me with that.
That's what we love to hear. The entire cast, and even Tom when he comes out with this too. It's just great to connect with the people that made this movie really what it is, because without the audience, without that enjoyment factor, it would have just, you know, floated away in cinema history. But it has this life after life after life, kind of like the undead, right?
It sure does. And now, speaking of comedy, let's move on to your next iconic role, and that is my favorite, Marcy D'Arcy, Married with Children. That is a show that I think will just live forever.
Well, it's never left the airways. And it too, we launched 31 years ago. I mean, the two jobs were not that far apart, and it's still on the air somewhere at middle of the night, crack of dawn. People tell me they get up in the morning and turn it on and point and laugh, and you know, it's a good way to start your day, laughing. And that's what our job was to find a way to make people just smile and feel better about themselves, because they certainly didn't want to be us.
So your character, Marcy Darcy, is a character. You're very funny and entertaining, but as a character that could really, get on someone's nerves. It was like someone like you could love to hate, and
My
just,
pleasure.
oh God. So just tell us a little bit about that, like the fact that people do love and hate the character at the same time.
Well, I think if you're really pro Al, then you're going to be anti-Marcy a little bit, but somebody had to keep him in line. And I really did enjoy when the writing was put Al and Marcy against each other, because those two characters were the most polar opposite in the show. But I will always be grateful not only for the opportunity to create that character, but that show gave me my second career as a director. So I've been behind the camera now for 27 years, I think. All these numbers, all these big numbers. But, and so the two things I'm most known for as an actor ended up being these cult classic kind of things, and I delight in that because I really ended that part of my on-camera career with Married with Children so that I could continue and be taken seriously as a television director.
Fantastic. So just tell us a little bit about that, about your directing career. What are you working on these days?
Well, I've done hundreds of sitcoms. I did sketch comedy. I worked on Mad TV and then another sketch comedy show for years. And every once in a while, I'll still pop down and do a multi-camera show. I just had the opportunity to direct my first off-Broadway play, which is still running at City Center, 55th,
Fantastic.
between 7th and 6th and 7th, and it stars Haley Mills for people who know that generation, and she's just lovely. It's called Party Face, and we will run until the first week in April.
Oh, that's great.
That's what brought me to the winter hurricane, being in New York for 6 weeks this December and January, but it was a remarkable experience, really great.
That is fantastic. Amanda, thank you so much for taking a few minutes with me. It was really a privilege to speak with you. And again, I really am just a fan at heart. So it really was a lot of fun for me to get to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Always nice to hear. I appreciate that. Come see us.
Absolutely. Come on down. Amanda Bearse is here, New Jersey HorrorCon in Islin, New Jersey. And we will see everyone in the next interview.